Externally, the goal was to connect with you guys all individually in our house, the apartment. So welcome to the space. It's great to have you guys here. I know that some of you guys are connected in some ways, others aren't. Sydney, not Sydney. But what I thought would be cool is just to do a bit of a roundtable introduction. The main connection, I guess, in this room is across different things that both myself, the team would deem culture and community and connection. And a lot of that in this room today is through music, arts, well-being, lifestyle, fitness. And so you guys may or may not have already connected before, but everyone here is in here and has been chosen to be in here because I think we'll all get along. And hopefully this will be the start of a really cool series that we can host in this space to then bring more cool people in to connect and build on all of our own lifestyles, worlds and well-being. So I might kick it off with the music man. And also we call him the fit daddy. A little intro, who you are, connection to community, well-being, your love, and maybe your name.
My name is Nick Dravel. I'm a musician and a producer, a DJ. That's kind of what I've been doing for the last close to 20 years. I was studying at university and picked up music while I was doing that, got right into electronic music and started making it and DJing. By the time I finished my degree, I was kind of just doing that full time. So then I just dived into that and it's all I've done ever since. I love it. I'm in a duo with another guy, and our artist project's called Setmo. We make kind of local house music and have been releasing records for 15 years and touring the country and the world. It's been a wild ride, loved it. Last few years I've also got probably more into my fitness and well-being. I became a dad 6 years ago and I turned right around the time I turned 30, and I think you start to look at life through a slightly different lens when that happens. I started taking my health a bit more seriously. Being a touring DJ isn't the healthiest lifestyle, with a lot of late nights and early flights and drinking and the rest. So I made a conscious decision to kind of take my health more seriously, both from what I'm putting in my body, but also how I'm training and how I'm recovering and sleeping and everything. And I feel like it's just every year I've just slightly gone more and more down that rabbit hole to last year I did my first marathon and high rocks, and now I'm actually a qualified group fitness instructor as well, and I've been doing that and kind of now just juggling my two passions of the fashion and the music and also trying to combine them as much as possible, which has actually been super fun.
Looks good on you, bro. This guy's got 2 kids.
Isn't that crazy? He didn't give birth to them, but...
I didn't. I had very little to that bit. It's a very valid point.
We've got to be careful.
That's fired.
Yes. No, but I mean, look, after watching my wife give birth twice and also grow those children for 9 months aside there, you have a whole new respect for her and females in general, because we have it pretty easy as blokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I have 2 daughters, so I'm in a house full of women. I respect it and love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Nice, Nick. Lovely. I'm Rory.
Hey, Rory.
And I feel like I know everyone here already. I'm a breathing coach and an ultramarathoner, was kind of what I did.
Nice connection to fitness, wellness, lifestyle, clothing, fashion.
Yeah, I like to...
You're a pretty well-dressed mate, well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I'm pretty short bio here.
We love you, man.
Thanks, man. I love you.
Hi guys, I'm Neve. I'm a social media manager by trade. I've done it for over 10 years, working with big brands, small brands, just running their socials, creating content for them. That's kind of what I do full time, but I'm also a yoga instructor and a running coach as well, and I do that because I love fitness, I love the mindset, the physical movement, just everything that fitness kind of gives to you. So became a yoga instructor about 2 years ago, and I've always wanted to kind of steer into that full time, but I kind of like the balance of having both, kind of like where the two worlds collide as well. So that's me.
Hello, I'm Tori. I'm the founder of Peaches Pilates. We have studios across the east coast of Australia. We also have an app that's used in about 54 countries, I believe. But most importantly, I'm a mummy of a little girl and a little boy and a wifey to my business partner. And I think what's really important is that Peaches is much more known as like a brand that's based on community rather than fitness and image, which is why I love what you do so much. And a big passion of mine is reframing fitness from a place of self-love and getting people to embrace the way that they feel from a really holistic perspective. So, you know, making sure they nourish their body. And when I say nourish your body, I'm not talking like wheatgrass shots and fucking, you know, cauliflower rice. I'm talking like enjoying making real nourishing food that is also healthy but soothes the soul, and kind of getting together with the people that you love, rather than making it something that's quite antisocial, which we see a lot of in our studios. We see a lot of like particularly young women recovering from a type of orthorexia that can become very lonely because they don't want to go out and hang out with people. They don't want to go to that gig on the weekend. They don't want to go and have a burger with their mate after they record a podcast because it's all very like stringent. So that's kind of what we're about.
Cool.
Sorry, is it all female, or have you got...
No, we've got blokes too.
What do you reckon the split of what you feel the split
I'd
is?
probably say it's 80-90% women. We're getting more and more men as the brand grows.
Yeah.
We are very female centric. We have a big focus on pregnancy and postpartum and motherhood, but as I'm sure you guys know, Pilates is actually incredibly beneficial for men. And as our brand grows, and as we kind of, even around, you know, having a few male instructors has made a big difference. Having male imagery on our website, who knew, made such a difference.
Funny that.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, we try to think a little bit more strategically, making sure men know that they're welcome. Every now and again, a guy will come into our DMs and they're like, "A guy's allowed."
Maybe you like open a sub brand called like Plums.
For peaches and plums.
Or peaches and you open like creams.
Yeah. So
No, I didn't need any more
female.
projects.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
male
awesome.
and female.
Where was the first studio?
Bondi.
Bondi Road?
Yep. But not that,
No,
not
not
that
that
side. Not that side. No, it was like a tiny little shoebox. We've moved it twice, so we're in our third space on Bondi Road, but we're Bondi born. Yeah.
Hey, exciting. Right, well, I'm Chloe, and how would I describe myself? I would say right now I'm probably in my 20s crisis, where I don't, like, I'm between careers and experiences, and I came to Australia less than a year ago, so I'm still a newbie over here, but I originally came from a health and medical background. That's what I studied at university. Went into actual banking and finance, decided that probably wasn't for me, and now I just create content on the side, and whilst I figure out what I'm doing with my life, but I create content in the health and fitness field, so that's how I know a lot of these guys, and yeah, that's just a bit of me.
How's the body?
The body is, I'm currently injured. So I'm going through like a phase of just being at one with my body and just letting it do its thing. Like previously I've been in go and haven't really known what to do other than exercise. I grew up a competitive swimmer, so I was conditioned into the training twice a day, 4 hours a day, and having to like take a step back out of injury is like taught me a lot of lessons, and just learned to be patient with my body. But what's the injury? So I have a hamstring tear, a popliteal tear, and a popliteal cyst in my knee. Popliteal, the muscle that goes over the back of your knee. So which basically controls you bending and extending your knee.
From
which is it's from overtraining. So don't overtrain, guys.
Can I ask my two injured women in this room, are you doing Pilates?
I'm doing.
How long has that taken you? Just trying to
Not trying to
actually
I'm
to be a Pilates
just
instructor.
trying to. All
No,
my
guys,
injured
honestly,
friends need
this
to be
is the
doing
point
it.
at which we would like to say that anyone on this, series is here to action share gifts. So Tori wants to offer you guys both free lifetime access. We really appreciate you coming on and being so generous. Thank you.
Wait, what's
Yeah,
your
let's go with
injury?
that.
My injury is a femoral shaft stress fracture. Upgrade. Shaft.
Perfect, Rory.
Thigh bone stress fracture from running, from overtraining, and I'm actually training to be a Pilates instructor.
Welcome to my world.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and it came at a really good time because I could feel this injury coming on, and like I've always known that Pilates was so important for my running, but I just kind of like negated it because I was like, I'm a yoga instructor, I run, I weight train, I do all the things that I don't have time for Pilates as well. And then got injured and I was forced to be a Pilates girly and I love it.
It's how it happens.
I'm sad.
That's how I started. I started young, but got back into it because I got injured, but then I never left. Yeah.
The league girls go home, 2 lucky winners.
Annabelle.
Hello, I'm Annabelle. I hate answering this question because I don't really know what to say. I guess I share my journey online through content creation and also am a Move With Us coach and just work with brands and kind of do a bit of everything, do a bit of running, do a bit of CrossFit, high rocks, triathlons, chuck that in there, some trail races, literally any type of sport, I'm willing to give it a crack. And yeah.
Do you think Irish is cool?
Are you a hybrid rock star?
I guess, I am
Nick.
kind of a hybrid rock star.
It's cool.
Which is your favourite out of all the sports? Out of all the different things? I do love my weight training and conditioning and that sort of thing. I used to hate running and then, it grew on me. All my family is like triathletes and runners and that sort of thing. So it kind of was a matter of time before I started getting into it. Like my mum, she represents Australia for her age group in triathlons. So she's a weapon, and I ran my first marathon with her and then running my next marathon with my dad. And so, kind of influenced in the best way, I guess.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Good, you, Chad.
What about me? I think hopefully everyone in the room knows me, even though I have met some people officially for the first time today. But very quickly, founder of Fordham Media, one of the founders of Unofficial Run Club, and just got a big passion for connecting and building communities, and somehow landed up running a media production creative powerhouse in the making. And I think the most exciting thing for me is that Fordham has been built and has grown to a stage at which I can host people like this on a Friday in an apartment in Bondi and really just get to know people and hopefully help people connect and create beautiful things. 3 years ago, Fordham's been around for like 6.5 years, and 3 years ago I sat in probably what was my biggest ever potential client meeting, and I sat in there with like the board pitching for what could have been over $1 million, and I told them that I wanted to do cool shit with cool people, and they laughed at me because I couldn't explain to them how we were actually going to deliver impact. And I think the thing that I'm most proud of today, looking back 3 years later, so now 6.5 years in, is like I can actually do cool shit with cool people and actually deliver the impact. And I think that's been the most amazing part of the growth. So super pumped and excited to have you guys today. I hope that doing the intros, everyone could kind of get a vibe check on like why you're all here or how you guys are all connected. But one of the things that I was kind of thinking, and I could hear in, I guess, all of the intros, and we obviously prefaced it with a connection to sport and just how much mainly running stuff is happening in Sydney this month. But I think we all have our own reasons for getting into sport, getting into fitness, and how it's kind of empowered us and given us an opportunity to kind of do more in other aspects of our life. So I might throw it to the open room just around like a story about like training or running or physical activity that's kind of helped you at a stage in your life that you didn't know you needed it. And I'm sure that there's some stories here that we can open up. So anyone want to jump in?
A story about running.
Which one?
Yeah. Tell us about your first 100k, Rory.
Well, I think maybe a comical kind of thing. Like my first long distance race was 100k after running a half marathon, and then, which is obviously quite extreme. But then the next year, I thought I'd run 250k in desert. So I literally went from a half marathon to 100k to 250k in Chile on my own. And I think I got to like day 3 when I was in the Atacama desert on my own in this tent shared with 5 other people I'd never met. And I just sat and I was like, what on earth am I doing? I was like, I'm really bitten off more than I can chew here. So I think there's I don't really know what the lesson of the story of that is, but I think there's definitely a comical value with my intense personality of wanting more, going bigger, and never knowing where the line is. But that was a bit dumb, wasn't it? I don't really have any other stories about running now. Can I think about it?
Did you finish it though?
Yeah, I think
The connection between running and how you feel mentally is.
Well, I often think, you know, I'm sure we've spoken about it before, but I don't really run for the physical. I think for the physical is a byproduct and a secondary benefit. For me, running is all about mindfulness and feeling internal pride, and you know, often doing something I don't want to do. You know, often I see people on social media who you know, are really happy. You know, like you, for example, you're so happy all the time. You're also happy in running. I'm like, fuck, I'm miserable. like to put on some shoes and go for a run, I'm like kicking and screaming and trying to battle this little internal dickhead in my head. So I think there's definitely a bit of self-pride in doing a thing that I didn't want to do. And then 99% of the time, once I get out running, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this.
Then you are happy.
Yeah, then I am happy. But it's just, you know, even after 6 years of running competitively or racing, whatever you want to call it, you know, I still forget how much I enjoy it. But I think it's just this internal battle and dialogue of, you know, the devil and the angel on my shoulder, one saying, don't do it, the other saying, do it. And then eventually when I beat the voice in my head and do it, you know, the happiness comes. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
No. Anything else that would also look cool in it? Running, training.
I think I have a similar experience with that Rory has. Like, I don't like running, and I never really have liked running. I just did it because like it was like the only thing we could do in COVID. So I was a competitive gymnast growing up, and then obviously just when the gym shut, I was like, okay, well now what do we do? Like, so went running, hated it, and probably only until like last year to actually enjoy it. But it's doing the thing that you said that you were going to do, and like proving to yourself that you did the thing. That's something that's like really potent for me with running. And it kind of ties into yoga as well. I think like yoga and running for me have a very similar like meditative state that you disconnect the physical body. You almost like you're just so stripped of ego in both practices, and you just go one foot in front of the other, or you're just flowing and you're just moving, and it's like it's that state of flow that comes with physical movement.
It's
for
like
me.
a moving meditation.
Exactly, and it's so potent.
But I think you've got to be good to feel that.
Yeah.
Good at running or good at yoga or Pilates or whatever your discipline is.
Baseline.
To agree to fall into that flow state.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be like, I mean, there's a difference between good and great, but like I think you can't just be a beginner. You probably need to get past that first little bit where you have some confidence in the movement, because first yoga class you go to, you're just trying to look around the room, figure out what the fuck's going on. But I think as soon as you kind of understand the poses, and I mean, so much of our days now are consumed by like often maybe on a screen or by other people or just distracted, that I find when I go for a run or do a yoga class or whatever, and it's just 60 minutes where you're not doing that, I feel completely different mentally afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Do you enjoy racing on the training?
Fuck yeah, love racing. The inner dog comes out.
Love that.
What's the enjoyment?
Maybe that's ego.
Interesting.
I don't know. You just run for your
Or
life.
do you think there's definitely a part of you that knows that you've done the training up until that moment to get to the start line?
Yeah, it's almost like that's your victory lap, isn't it? Really, like you've already done the thing that you said you were going to do because you've done the training. If you've done the training, if you haven't done the training, then you're fucked. Like, just don't even bother. But like, if you've done it, then yeah, you get to that start line, and it's just fun, isn't it? How many marathons have you done?
2 now.
College.
What's the next one?
Queenstown in November. Yeah. So I'm
Is that
doing.
hilly?
I think it is a little bit. I think it's a lot on trail as well. I did say that
It's
I
a
wasn't going to
trail
do.
marathon.
It's a trail marathon.
It's like 70% on trail, but it's not the
sick.
trail
Oh,
that you're
really?
thinking.
That's
of.
not so bad,
When's that?
It's like
It's November.
a gravel path
Yeah.
kind of trail, not like rocks and mountains and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you still wear normal shoes. You wouldn't wear trail shoes.
On a gravel path, are you sure?
Yeah.
It's like
Still getting the car.
She's wearing a carbon.
the 10, running around the 10. it's that's kind of.
Oh, sorry, got you. I was
Yeah,
thinking of
no,
like
it's
the
not.
Like Atacama.
Yeah, I know that you were thinking actual trout. No, it's just not road.
Rory went straight to the national park in his head.
Yeah, his eyes lit up.
That's cool. That was fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I got 2 Hyroxes, a CrossFit comp, two half marathons, full marathon, and then another sort of competition. So
All right, show off.
there's a lot of
Over what time frame?
Which is like 2 months.
half marathon this month, Hyrox next month, then the CrossFit comp, then another half marathon, then the full marathon, then another Hyrox.
She's
ever
a
get injured?
rock star.
I haven't yet, touched wood. The only thing I've ever done is broken my hands, but that was playing touch football. So,
They're real rough.
not at the same time.
What's
That
your
would be a
secret to
nightmare.
staying injury free?
Yeah, give us some.
Yeah, we need it.
I think it's just because I've got such a big background in strength training.
Yeah.
And so I started strength training first and then I started running. And when I did increase my running load, I got a running coach to then implement running specific strength into my program as well. So fine tuning those muscles that I normally wouldn't train during my strength training. And then because I think I had such a big base of strength, it just helped me a lot. Like I've never had shin splints or stress fractures or anything like that. Again, touch wood. But yeah, it's just
Check in the end of the year.
yeah, we'll see.
Was this again?
I think a quote that is constantly, albeit quite a lame one, I think, but it's a really simple one that's kind of come into my head over the course of like my training and run journey, specifically over like the last, maybe started 2 years ago and into this year, has been like simply movement is medicine. And like, I feel like that's something probably in this room that would be well received. And I know for myself, there was like a particular moment in my life that kind of has led me, it was about 2.5 years ago, that has kind of led me to where I'm at today, both professionally and personally. And what I was wondering, I guess, in the room, has there been a moment in your lives where you feel like something has happened or something has changed? It's been like a real trigger point moment that has led you to be where you are today, either professionally or in the way in which you guys move. Anyone want to steal the mic? Or something that? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's so interesting being in a room full of runners and like people who are in a really high performance kind of state of their lives, and I'm kind of coming into this in a very different life stage. As I said, I'm a mother to 2 very small children, and it's that as well as running a business is my number one priority. So my movement is of course my medicine, but like my ability to commit long periods of time is completely gone. But with that also went any kind of begrudgement towards moving or feeling like I had to be disciplined. It's like the biggest privilege in the world, and it feels like the highest level of self-care when I get to move, because it's just something for me. And I think there's also a layer, and I think you mentioned this when you became a dad, like there is this layer of responsibility and knowing that like I have to be the best version of myself as a parent. Oh my God, so many things. So probably one of the biggest things that made me start Peaches was I was working at MTV and going to a gym around the corner. I tell this story all the time, so sorry if you've heard it. But everyone always asks, well, how did you start Peaches? And this is how it started.
When you said MTV, I was going to say, well, welcome to my club.
And I was going to, the kind of thing at the time was everyone was doing these pump classes and it wasn't really enjoyable. You'd go in your lunch break, you had this tiny window, it was very stressful, none of the equipment was laid out for you, everything was fucking stinky and smelly, and the whole thing was just like cortisol levels rising. You do the class, no one watched it form, everyone just wanted you to go faster and lift heavier, and lo and behold, I injured myself because I went from pump desk, and I was so miserable because just existing was painful. And I used to say that like the joy is sucked out of every little thing. Like I can't go to dinner. I remember I went on this beautiful trip to Queenstown and like I couldn't truly enjoy anything because I was in pain the whole time. So I went back to Pilates and realized that like the foundation of your core strength, you know, glute strength, all of that stuff just totally changes your life. It changes your posture. It changes the back pain that you constantly have all the time when you're working in front of a desk or using a phone. And I just realized that I loved it so much. So I decided to become an instructor. And then that then led to me realizing that I thought I wanted to do it full time. But at the time, I just put this weird sort of cap on myself where I was like, oh, I don't want to just like be a fitness instructor. That's a hobby. Like I need a real job, I need a real job in like some form of an office. But slowly it kind of snowballed, and I ended up creating Peaches because I wanted a space to go to that felt like home, that was based on community. And at the time in Bondi, there really wasn't a place like that. Pilates back then was very sterile and also very wanky and image focused, to say the least. And
changed a lot, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, it really has. Yeah, no, but I mean there is way more focus now on community and come as you are. I mean, it depends. There's a lot of elite Pilates, very prestigious, very beautiful image focused brands that do very well because their clients love that, and I think that those people do amazing. But that's not what we're about. So yeah, that was a bit of a turning point.
When was that? How long ago? So
10 years ago this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sick.
How many studios you got?
10.
That's sick. One a year.
One a year.
Really? I think.
It definitely wasn't one a year.
Yeah.
How long have you had the first one for before you opened the second one?
About a year, then we opened Maroubra, maybe 2 years.
Well, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's been very stop start, and there was never the intention for it to be what it is now. I still pinch myself that Chris, my husband, is able to
Work.
Well, to leave a corporate job and for the breadwinner in our relationship to come on board and for us to give this thing a go, it's amazing.
What did your husband do?
He was in marketing, so he used to work for Virgin Australia and then Maya, and then we went away on a big trip, and while we were away I was working like a dog, and he was like, oh, how much did you make there? And I was like, oh, I'm not really sure, I'm not really based on the numbers, I'm just doing it for the passion. And Chris was like, well, sorry, and then he kind of was like, oh, you're actually not making too bad of money. I'm like, yeah, I'm not, am I? And he just kind of got more and more interested, always looking over my shoulder at the laptop, and then he started giving his 2 cents, and also let's be honest, giving things a little bit more structure. And it really helped. And when we got back, he was like, I don't want to put on a suit again. I'm like, get in a fucking bus and go to this city every day. So we said we give it a go. Not the bus.
I love it. I've had conversations, I think, individually with a fair few people in the room, and I'm sure people that hopefully will listen to this might be interested, but I'm always curious to understand how it felt to take the leap. Because you've obviously had to, in yourself, somehow find the confidence to be like, no, I'm actually doing that. And I feel, even though you're putting the rest of the room in this high performer space, to be the person that you are means that you are a high performer too. And it's a very interesting thing, because I sit here and I know a lot of people look at me and go, you're a high performer. But I also sit here and I'm like, am I really? And I think that's something that we all do in this room, because I'd say every single person in this room is a high performer in our own ways. So I'm curious to know, in your position at which you were like, holy shit, we're doing this, and you actually took the leap to make that move. How did it make you feel? How did you feel before you took the leap? What were the emotions you were experiencing, if you remember? I'm sure you would. And then what are the emotions that you feel most now, having been around now 10 years and looking back on the journey and being able to have your kids, have a husband that works in the business? What's that been like for you?
I think one of my strengths and also my downfalls is that when I'm focused on something, I really don't fucking care. I just need to do it. And I really didn't have much fear. I also don't really care if it fails. What? Sorry, I gave it a go. I gave it a good red hot go. I think that's all you can do in life. So I had no fear at all. Chris was like, please just don't sign any leases until I'm back on a work trip. And I was like, I think I found a space. I think I need a studio. He was like, hold on, whoa. And I just went for it. But I'm a workhorse. And I gave it my all, and it felt nothing other than exhilarating. But also there was just a need to do it. There wasn't any should I do this? Should I sign this lease? Should I commit this? It was just go.
So so sure of yourself.
Just do it. Yeah, I guess so. But it wasn't this is going to be amazing. It was just this is just what I want to do. This is what I need to do, and I think it will work. And if it doesn't, that's okay. at least you tried. And now my attachment to it is very different. I think it's very two-pronged. It's so wonderful to have a passion and a drive and to have a job that I love, that lights me up. That is like a purpose, and I get to work with really amazing people, but I'm much more detached from it. And I just feel like everything I say in this podcast, I'm going to relate back to being a mum. I can't help it. It's just very much my identity now. So sorry, guys, for being mumsy. But it's also just helped me take a massive step back from like the stresses. Like when things happen now that would have totally put me in a total stress state, I'm just like, well, you know, shit happens with bricks and mortar businesses. We're open 7 days a week. Sometimes someone fucks up, someone sleeps through their alarm and they don't rock up to the studio. It used to drive me mental, and now I'm like, well, I can't change it, you know. And I think that when a child gets sick, or you know, when you're trying to conceive, or when you're pregnant and you know something happens and you're not sure if the baby's okay, it just, everything shifts, and there's only one thing that actually matters, and it's very refreshing, because you just, it actually felt like taking a cloak off my shoulders, because now I can just focus on the things that are the most important, but also I can be a good mum because I can work. I think because I can step into the shoes of a business owner and have my own identity and make connections and meet new people and have purpose outside of just being a mummy, I can thrive in both worlds. Whereas I think if I'd become a mum and didn't have something that was for me, that kept a little part of myself, I might have really struggled. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, I think it's so hard when you're in the moment of like, you feel so compelled to do something.
Yeah.
And you feel like with every part of your body that you need to do it, but there's that like little person inside your head. Doesn't sound like you had that. but I maybe it's fear, right? Yeah, like I'm like, my two things are literally just like, my favorite two emotions to feel at the same time is nervous and excited. And if I feel nervous and excited, I'm like, I have to do whatever it is. That's now like my rule. And so that's been something that's allowed me to like quieten that little guy in my head that goes like, oh, I don't know if you should do it. But like those, when I feel those two emotions now, I've identified those as the ones that I actually love, because the other side of doing or achieving or pushing through that moment is what's allowed me to achieve and do the things that I want. And I think I was talking to Annabelle this morning in the car about the man in the arena, and it's like you will never experience what the man in the arena or the woman in the arena, whatever it is, it's a famous quote, feels if you're actually not doing the thing. You can talk about doing the thing forever, you can kind of try to dip your toe in, but until you're like fully in the ice bath, you don't know what being in an ice bath feels like. And I think that's positive and negative, and the learnings come from it. But you had something to say, Rory? Nervous, excited, fear in your head, that little guy.
Something about fear. You're saying something about fear.
That was Roosevelt, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Roosevelt's
Famous guys. Yeah.
Nah,
I think it was Rory Warnock et al. 1921 or something. Et al.
And I have no idea what I was going to say about it. I forgot.
All right. Well, sorry. Jump back into the ring. Any other life-changing moments or points in anyone's life that kind of got you connected, and whether it be to your movement or to where you are professionally? Surely there's other moments in the room.
Go on, your first run, you're asking your first race.
Surely your first.
I did.
Your first session.
Yeah, surely your first.
The only real sport I was any good at in high school was distance running. So I did a bit of it, like track and cross country and stuff. And then when I finished school and got into music, I don't think I worked out a single day in my 20s. I started maybe doing some yoga in my late 20s, but there was probably a good 10 years there where I did next to no sort of exercise of any form.
Give us like a structure of a weekend. How would your weekend look? So,
mate, when I first started DJing and met Stu, the other guy in Setmo, we met through playing a lot of the same venues around Sydney, and I would DJ 4 or 5 nights a week. It was when King's Cross was like in its prime, and on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, I played 2 to 3 sets. I started about 8 p.m. and finished at around 4 or 5 a.m. on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
4 or 5 nights.
And now that's when you get up to run. Yeah.
Yeah, like this was before I owned an Aura, before I did any, like my health was not great. I surprisingly probably didn't look that unhealthy, but I definitely wasn't unhealthy on the inside. But I remember, actually, I had a mate who came out from the UK and was staying with me, And he was like, let's go down to the park and like do some pull-ups. And I was like, yeah, let's go down. And did them, and I couldn't do a single pull-up. And I was like, it shocked me at like the age of 28 or 29, I couldn't do a pull-up. And I was like, fuck. And we like did some assisted pull-ups where he'd like helped me up, and then I was sore for like a week. And it was just, something just ticked in my brain, and I was like, I need to start doing something. I started going down to the park and started doing some pull-ups, and then that led me to like, I did F45, and then I started doing more like strength and conditioning at like other gyms, a little more advanced. And one thing that jumped out to me when you were talking about the Pilates and how you're like, you know, you guys are all elite runners and stuff. It's like, there's so many different forms of movement. You just need to find one that suits you and your personality. I think people might see on social media the Pilates girl or the person running or whatever it is and be like, I wish I could do that, but they just don't enjoy it, or it doesn't suit their body or where they're at in life. And it's like, go and try something else then. Go and try the other class. There's so many different forms of movement that I do believe that there's like something out there for everyone that will like, you know, feel their soul and they'll actually enjoy it. It doesn't need to be, and it shouldn't be a chore, you know?
Could not agree more. I actually, because I'm injured at the moment, I'm learning to swim. I'm actually doing my first triathlon, very excited. And I'm learning to swim for the first time at literally like, well, I was 29, now 30 years old. And it's humbling, and it's like, it's this new form of movement, and it's complete. It's like another form of meditation that I didn't know existed before 6 months ago. And it's so interesting how I thought movement that was for me was running, was yoga, was strength training. And now it's cycling, it's swimming, and it's Pilates. Like, what a shift. And that is literally, I mean, yes, okay, I was slightly forced because of the injury, but it's just so refreshing to know that there's like so many different forms of movement. And like, sometimes we can get quite narrow-minded with like what we think is society's correct forms, or like is cool and is popular. Like running is so popular now, but look how many people get injured from running because they just put on a pair of shoes and they're like, I don't really know what's going on here, and then just it's quite an accessible sport. And obviously I love running, I'm absolutely obsessed with it, hence why I became a running coach, because I wanted to be able to teach people to also do this amazing freeing form of movement. But when you get injured, it kind of strips that away from you. And yeah, learning to swim is like, it's mad. Like, it's mental.
Did you actually not swim?
Well, like doggy paddle and like breaststroke, but like not freestyle. Yeah, like not swing, but like swing.
Swing. I'm gonna go for a swing.
I couldn't swim. No, like genuinely, like one lap and I'm puffed. Went for 2 swimming lessons. A really interesting mantra that I learned from swimming was like, move through the water, not against it. And that was so interesting because I use that in yoga quite a lot. I use like, don't force things, like become soft and like just kind of allow your body to move and just breathe, like move in time with your breath. And so the idea of moving through water, not against it, rather than trying to rush to the other side, actually enjoying the process of swimming, is a bit of an analogy for like my life, really. Because like, if you actually just stop forcing yourself on like this forward momentum, it does just eventually happen, and you do just end up getting to the end and you're not puffed and you're not out of breath. I know. Namaste.
You can have them for free.
Want to shift gears a little bit. I think we're all in the room and can talk about the topics of community, connection, and then also from more of a Fordham and Friends of Fordham standpoint, we speak internally about putting brands, or putting ourselves at the epicenter of culture and creativity, but also then putting the brands at which we work with at the epicenter of culture and creativity. And I think every single person in this room has some form of either connection to a community or has built a community. I know, like, you walk the streets of Annabelle and people are like whispering, being like, I know that girl from social media. It definitely doesn't happen for me. But it's quite amazing to see how we've all in our own rights built community, whether it be through the studios or through what we do, or even in running and your breath work, and when you're hosting sessions with like the likes of, I don't know, you've done some pretty amazing brands recently. Who else have you done? Done Whoop, you've done Spotify, you've done some really sick ones, you do a lot of work through Lemon. And I think your brand as well has grown. You're obviously connecting through music, like we speak about different music all the time. So in this room, there's an amazing connection to bringing people together and actually having impact. Curious to know and get some rolling thoughts and just like your ability to engage with community and connection. Bless you. Do I
Coming. I was like, no, I feel like coming.
We'll zoom in on that
It's a really deep question.
She's like, perfect. Can we cut that out? No, this is rolling live.
You're rolling too well. I need to break it up.
But yeah, she's like, no long questions. I need easy short ones. But no, I think, yeah, community and connection is important and plays a big role in all of our lives in different ways. I think from everyone's perspective in the room, and I think like we can do a round thing on this one. What has it felt like, and when have you felt most connected to a community? And then also, do you think any brands in the space right now are doing really cool things with community and connection? We'll kick off from you.
Yeah, so I think having such a large community, and especially online majority of the time, I often forget, just how much of an impact I can have and do have on some people. And I feel like it only really happened, this year when I did, like Sydney High Rocks especially, when I went to that, and just the sheer amount of people who came up to me and like told me that they're here because of me, and like they started running because of me, or they did my program or that sort of thing. And everyone is just so nice and so grateful, and they're just so like excited to meet me, which is just so weird considering all I do is just post fitness, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. And then having those moments with people in person, it makes me really realize like, okay, no matter how small you think something is, it can be so large to someone else. And it's just, yeah, it's really cool. And I'm very grateful that I have such a lovely community. Like it's mostly girls. I mean, some guys like Chad.
Yeah.
For a while, guys. Me, I've been for yes. See that post yesterday.
But yeah, it's really cool how someone can have such an impact on someone else's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think obviously online presence is like Annabelle said, is like really important, not only for encouraging people to like get into movement and just like be themselves and like be positive and just to see what other people are obviously doing in life, but I also think the community that you build around you is also really important. So the strongest I felt like attached to a community has been like when I've been doing sport. Like I grew up as a swimmer, and the people that I would swim with day in, day out, they were like my brothers and sisters, although they were the brothers and sisters. And in that sense, whatever they did, like I did, or we all did together. So that's when I think you have the biggest influence, is like the people around you are the biggest influence in your life. Like everyone talks about how your parents shape you so much. When you grow up and you learn, oh, they weren't just like shouting down my neck for no reason. It was actually to make me a better person. And so I think in terms of community, keeping the people around you and just controlling who you speak to, who you talk to, who you interact with is like the best form of community that people can like provide. Like it's all well and good sometimes speaking to everyone and knowing everyone, but when you have that small, tight-knit group, that's really important, I think.
At Peaches, we're incredibly lucky because we have such a tight-knit community. And one of the ways that I try to instill it in my teams and make sure that there's a flow-on effect and a continuity in the brand experience is we do an ethos training with our new staff. If they work in our local studios, I usually invite them to my house and we go over our handbook, which isn't how to do Pilates, it's how to make someone feel amazing. We've got an internal brand mission statement, which is MPFFA, which means make people feel fucking amazing. And that's what I want to do when people walk in outdoors, because it's not actually about the movement, it's about the warm hug when someone walks in the door, or eye contact, or remembering someone's name or their injury. and I remind our instructors that like you carry people through their hardest days. When you are a space that opens their doors on that cold winter morning and someone walks in and they've rolled out of bed and you don't know what people are going through. And because we've been open for 10 years and, you know, it's often those little quiet moments on the mat when you're still setting up the studio that people really open up to you. Like people come in after a fight with their partner, or when they're going through IVF, or when their father just died. And it really means so much to me when we get an email or a DM and, you know, people say, oh, you might not have even known this, but like my dad died 2 months ago and I couldn't get out of bed, but Pilates was the one thing that just made me feel human. So yeah, I truly think it's everything. And I think some brands that do really cool work are brands like Fordham. Like the fact that you are here introducing us to each other and hoping that a cool connection might be made is such a representation of who you are and what you're trying to build. And it's really similar to what we do in our studios in a different way. Like, you know, two girls might be sat next to each other on the mat and I say, oh, did you know, like, she's also from the UK, or, you know, she also got a Groodle last week. And when you see people walk off and go grab a coffee after class, it's actually amazing. Particularly living in Sydney, like, it, you know, it sounds like a lot of people in this room aren't from here. I didn't grow up in Sydney. Are you kidding me? I grew up in far north Queensland. I'm a Cairns girl, and I did not grow up in the Bondi bubble and have my little collection of private school friends. No offense if that's you, but it's not that easy to integrate and make friends, and it can be very wanky and very cliquey. And something that I'm really proud of is that we can actually help people create lasting real relationships as adults, because once you're an adult, it's not that easy, is it, to make friends, you know?
Yeah, I tried to be friends with Rory for like 2 to 5 years.
Did you finally want him over?
Me too.
We're still working on it. We're still working on the friendship. We're still blossoming.
It's definitely blossoming. No, I appreciate the kind words. I was saying to the boys the other day and some of our team, like, anyone can produce content, anyone can produce strategy. There's different levels and layers to it, of course, but I think like what I'm really trying to push and do through this concept of like Friends of Fordham is bring people into this world at which they can do exactly that, which is just connect. Like, you can be our client, but being our client doesn't just mean that we produce and do great work for you, but hopefully it opens doors to experiences like this and just different people that can do different things. So I appreciate you feeling that way. Over to you.
Yeah, I think community for me is similar to you having the studio on a very small scale after I teach a class. When you come out of that class and someone says something like, I really needed that, or wow, like what you just said there, like has just made me think about this. Like, that's the whole reason I became a teacher, was because when I went to yoga classes, when I was going through some things, I used to come out of classes and just like feel like a new part of my brain was just unlocked, and I was like, I want to be able to pass that on to other people and share that with others. And yeah, that feeling of, like you said, you don't really know what's going on in someone's life when they walk into your class, and you may say something like really simple like be still, or just be with your thoughts, and someone comes out and goes, I really didn't want to be with my thoughts today, but you made me there with my thoughts, and now I can go on with my day and do this. And it's just like, it actually like gives me goosebumps and makes me like quite emotional to think that like you can actually change someone's life literally with something that you say and it's literally by pairing physical movement with just the experience, and it's also the other people in that room that are then also like experiencing the same thing all together, and they walk out and they talk to each other. It's pretty powerful,
and it's a real privilege. I think, you know, that client who came to you who didn't want to be still, they might not have had 45 minutes, not their day, their week, and they've chosen to come to you and pay to be on the mat with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it is a real privilege to hold the space for someone who's, you know, who just never has time for themselves. Like, perfect example is me. I very rarely get to a studio to do a class because life is chaotic for me, but God, it makes such a difference when you do, and you connect with people and you sit in the space. And like you said, like it's so simple, but you know, if everyone went through that breath work at the end of the class together, like you know, and no one else was there apart from those 12 people in that room at that time, it means something.
Yeah, it's pretty potent.
My connection to community is definitely in person. I'm shite online, but I host a lot of breathwork sessions for corporates, athletes, whatever it may be, and I feel my connection to community is when I host those sessions. I am a little bit jokey and have a bit of humour in my personality, but when I actually host a session, the switch. You've been to sessions, haven't you? You've been to sessions.
A
Couple, yeah. You've been to sessions.
I've been to sessions.
Yeah, you know, it comes from a place of meaning, purpose, fulfillment, where I fell into breathwork to improve my own health, and to be able to give that back to other people who want to improve their life feels pretty fulfilling, for no better word. So it comes from a place of love, compassion, excitement, but yeah, the feeling that you get when you do a session in person, and then you have the reactions and responses from people after who've never practiced it, is always pretty cool as well. Brands that I think are doing cool shit at the moment.
I was hoping you were going to jump into the brands.
Yeah, I'm done with the soppy stuff now. District Vision. You know, I've been a fan of District Vision for years. I just think they're quietly cool. They're not in your face. You know, they also got a good connection to mindfulness and breathwork. They host a lot of slower events, which I think is really cool.
Are you trying to do an event for them this Subway?
No. Not them. So yeah, District Vision would be probably my go-to cool brand at the moment.
So, first thing, yeah.
I probably have a slightly different lens, I guess, from the music side in terms of community, because there's obviously different, but community is a big aspect in music. Something we started doing at our shows probably like 6 or 7 years ago now, when we were playing like key headline shows or at like major music festivals. In the first track, when we would like get on and start our set, I'd get on the mic and I'd tell everyone in the crowd to like turn to a stranger next to them and to just like say hi, give them a high five, give them a hug, get settled in, because we're here for the next 60 minutes and like, let's have fun together. And it was amazing. Even from like a festival stage, you'd see everyone, vibe, and it just takes 30 seconds. But then you just see the energy shift in the crowd. Everyone kind of like locks in a different way, and they feel a lot more comfortable to be around a stranger next to them. Because if you're close to someone's personal space and you've never met them before and you bump them, it can be a bit awkward. But if you've just given them a high five and you know his name's Rory, you're like, hey, like everyone's friends in the room. So we started doing that, and we've done it ever since, which has been like a cool little thing we do in our shows. And then I guess on a more like artist to like fan level, I think something we've found is just those, as Rory was saying, it's like the in real life experiences. Like obviously people consume your content online and it can sometimes feel very one way, whereas at least if you're in person, we'll do things where after the show we'll be like, anyone who wants to hang out, we're going to come over to the merch and we'll be taking photos, signing merch, whatever. And then you get to have those conversations with people, and it's a bit more two-way instead of them just watching what you're doing, etc. You get, where are you from? Like, well, why did you come to the show tonight? Fuck, you drove 90 minutes to be here. Like, you have a bit more of a connection in that way. It was kind of what Chloe was saying. It's like it needs to be, you know, you need to feel close to them. If it's just people just writing comments on your Instagram post, it's like it's a form of community, but it doesn't feel it's like kind of quite as deep. So on that point, it's like if you think about brands that are doing it well, I think it's those brands, and they can be big or small, but then still do those smaller things, you know, like a brand like Nike, they do massive things like the Global After Dark series or whatever, where they're like running marathons, but then they'll do a small pop-up that's for like 50 people. And I think as you scale, whether you're an artist, a brand or whatever, you have to still do it on all the levels. It can't just be this big thing and you're up here, because then people just put you on a pedestal and it doesn't feel like there's that two directions, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I like it.
Do you know what is so amazing? I'm sure you guys have all seen. Is it Arrival by the Inspired Unemployed Boys?
Right.
Oh my god.
They're new.
They've
travel
launched.
app.
They're actually. I believe it's a travel agency, and it's genius. The campaign that I saw gave me goosebumps because it ticked every little dopamine hit in my brain. Like there was a ding ding, that ding ding that you get when you're on an airplane and like the seatbelt sign goes on or off. That feeling when you step into a new environment, whether it's like the humidity hits you like a wall or the cold breeze and that of a fresh beer in a new country, and meeting new people and laughing and getting a bit too drunk. And they just did this incredible promo video. And my husband put it perfectly. He said, what young bloke would use a travel agent? No one would until these guys. Particularly, I think there's going to be a lot of young men who might have missed out on some of that really formative travel experience during COVID. I just think that they just go from strength to strength. And it's so likable and they're so relatable and they're just... It's not wanky in the slightest, and you just think like, oh, I could be mates with that person. And they just, everything that they do, like from Better Beer to Arrival to whatever it is that they do, they just hit the nail on the head.
I like that.
I think brands that perform best nowadays, and especially in terms of marketing, are the ones where, like we see with Chad, he's like the face of the brand. So instead of Fortum being just like Fortum, you know Fortum, but because the face is Chad, or you know other brands because we know the people behind them and we know the people who work in them, and therefore it's more like personalized as opposed to just approaching this brand that just sells things that I like, but who is actually selling this to me? And I think that's the ones that are flourishing in the market at the moment.
Yeah, like Represents another one with George, like, and how, especially with the 247 kind of subcategory, how he just like lives and breathes it. Because people aspire to kind of like the lifestyle. It's not just the product, you know?
Series.
They were in this apartment. This is where they stayed when they were in town. I walked in here and I was like, how did you get this? They need to connect to the owner. So that's literally how this, that's how this place, that's how this place happened. But I was going to ask the question of like being in the position in which we're all in. We all probably look back and find it hard in some ways to be proud of the people that we are. So I was going to ask for advice that you give your younger self. You feel free to answer that if you like, but to close out, because we are nearing the hour, there's going to be a hell of a lot going on in Sydney this month with all the running events. There naturally is so much going on. For the people that might be coming into Sydney or even people that are in Sydney, what's your favourite food spot? What's your favourite place to do? What's your favourite place to move? Anything that you feel might be relevant in your world when you are in Sydney. I know you're not from here, but when you are in Sydney, has there been a place that you've loved to eat, loved to walk, loved to move? Not Peaches Pilates. I'm kidding. But yeah, just something for anyone tuning in. Something about Sydney that might be special to you. Should we go to the non-Sydney person first or last?
No.
We'll go to your last.
Yeah.
All right. You're the foodie in the room.
Okay, there's too many to name.
Make this quick, bro.
Yeah, number one. I'm a huge fan of Mexican food. Mexican's my favorite food. There's a guy.
You did send me to one of the best Mexican I've ever had in LA.
There you go. See,
It's not
I hunt down tacos, and I believe the best tacos in Sydney are at Rico's at the Norfolk Hotel in Surrey Hills. He spent a lot of time traveling around
I feel
Mexico,
like this is one of the seconds
California, and they're great tacos. Go there, you won't regret it.
Nuts. That's a big call.
Rico's tacos.
Yeah. Rory.
Just a good casual bite at the depot in Bondi. Great coffee, great food, great environment, great owners. So if you're in Bondi,
You're sponsored by them, right?
go to the depot.
For me, it's Machiavelli in Bondi. Absolute favourite. Really good owners there too, actually. Great coffee, great in the mornings for a brunch, but also has a really gorgeous vibe in the evening. It's like it completely shifts in the evening and becomes this like gorgeous, sexy wine bar. So kind of has both like the morning and the evening. Love you, Jacob.
I'm going for lunch after this at Sean's Panorama, and it's one of my favourite spots in Sydney.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
If you can get in.
BYO.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, I said yes. Okay.
And you can go and take your nice bottle. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I have a bottle of Herb at home.
There you go.
And raw bar. Can't go wrong with raw bar. I really just think some sashimi or like maybe Bill's for brekkie.
So you
on
came
Hall
from
Street.
far north Queensland, but you truly are.
I lived in Bondi for 10 years. And then, if you are in Sydney you've travelled here to do the City for Surf and you want to jump into a beautiful Pilates class, maybe try a hot mat class.
It's got to be beach.
There's a few, Pilates studios around by the name Peaches. Give me
I think, oh gosh, I feel like I'm a newbie to Sydney, so I feel like my recommendations probably aren't the best, but the one thing that you should do if you're around in Sydney is definitely go to Unofficial Rock Club.
Nice.
She's bad.
She's paid, honestly.
I feel like I don't really eat out much in general, so I know none of the places you just said. The only thing I know about Bondi is the walk, which is just everyone knows about the walk. So I'm like, that's
Finish out at icebergs, jump in the pool, jump in the sauna.
Yeah.
We're in a beer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What about Brisbane Gold Coast? Isn't that where you're?
Yeah, if people are
Yeah.
visiting Brisbane or Gold Coast, what's the spot?
Again, I don't really
Like a hot girl walk along Broad Beach. Like
Tally. You gotta walk around Tally.
Peaches Pilates in Burleigh Head just got hot mat.
It's actually right next to the studio. Yeah. Peaches and Burley.
Over your go-to foods, coffee, beer.
Beer. Jeez.
Hey, the book.
So honestly, table manners in Bronte, I think that is the most underrated steak in the whole of Sydney. I like search for the best steaks, you search for the best tacos. I've been to many a place that is like a steak restaurant, because that's what I hunt down. And Alex, who started Table Manners, doesn't really promote the steak per se. He promotes the experience. It's like the connection between being close to the ocean and being able to fine dine, and the connection between the two. And I just feel like when you walk in there, it feels like family. And yet again, it's like connection, and you enjoy that over a great meal. They know their wines really nicely and well, and it's an experience from start to finish. So I would say my go-to when I'm looking for good food and also an experience is Table Manners. But I'm not really. I like good coffee. Skittle Lane actually does great coffee in Bondi and other locations. But yeah, I like good food, but I like the experience, and also a lot of it comes down to the company, the people that you're sitting at the table with. So travel with cool people. I like it. And that's it. That's a wrap, guys. I appreciate you guys coming on to the first The Apartment Conversations of Bondi. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I hope that you enjoyed it.
Thanks
I
for
hope
thinking
that
of us.
afterwards we're all connected. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to be hosting a whole bunch of events over the course of the month. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. Would love you to be here. We're going to do, hopefully, Samo doesn't know about this, or Nick Drabble, but he's going to play a role in the Sounds of Bondi. I've still got to negotiate rates on that, so we'll see. Rory's going to be doing a breathwork session. Who knows, we might do some Pilates here. Annabelle's you're going to teach us how to swim in the ice bath by the couch. And you're going to host, you're going to teach us how to do weighted chin-ups off the balcony.
Right, okay.
And
For 29-year-old Joel.
but I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Take a little snack and go. And if any of you guys have feedback on that or any questions or comments, please share.
You are working with them.